Palpatine, in canon like Legends, had ambitions beyond the galaxy to explore the unknown regions, pierce whatever dangers prevented extragalactic travel, and, most importantly, to discover and ultimately conquer the unknown. We get the following quote from Empire's End. "For decades, these computers have been plotting a journey. Outside the known galaxy is an unexplored infinity," Palpatine explained, one closed off by a labyrinth of solar storms, rogue magnetospheres, black holes, gravity wells, and things far stranger. Palpatine said that the galaxy was to be his, but that it was only one among many. Again, that phrase arose, the unexplored infinity. This, he noted, was his domain. In order to accomplish his eventual goal of reaching new stars, Palpatine created and used machines which computed complex jumps through the unknown regions. Traveling even a short distance in this time took months, and only led one deeper into the tangle of the unknown region. Those who attempted to go further were often killed or driven to insanity due to the isolation. To truly traverse the void, one would need a powerful vessel, a self-sustaining vessel, which could house occupants for months or even years, without having to so much as touch civilization. In Legends, Palpatine achieved this through world devastators, gigantic machines which could harvest and transform material, and his Eclipse Dreadnoughts, the next generation of Super Star Destroyers, as well as other technology of the Dark Empire. In canon, I believe Palpatine's plan for intergalactic travel may have involved Mega Star Destroyers. First of all, the current canon has continually focused on the industrial capacity and storage of the Supremacy, and here's a direct quote. "The Supremacy's industrial capacity outstripped that of entire star systems, while its stores of everything from foodstuffs to ore ensured it could operate independently for years without making planetfall." And that's from the TLJ cross sections. Basically, the Supremacy is meant to be a mobile base, incapable of being cut off from supply lines, as it is in itself a supply line. It could process raw asteroids and minerals. It could create, repair, and upgrade starships. It had facilities for R&D, such that even on long journeys, the MSD would constantly be pushing out new technology. Like the Sith, it could operate hidden and secret, a mobile capital. However, this purpose is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the connection. The Supremacy is described as having, and I quote, "a millennia worth of data, every after-action report from Imperial history, as well as many from the Republic's judicial forces and planetary security forces. It contains astrogation reports, briefings from scouts and commercial guilds, separatist intel. This is clearly information gathered by the Empire itself. It is of course possible that this info was simply brought by Imperial defectors, but I think it's worth mentioning nonetheless. A more interesting connection comes with the Supremacy's navigational systems. One of Palpatine's observatories, and specifically the one on Jakku, was said to use ancient computational mechanisms from a much earlier unknown civilization. These help perform the calculations necessary for travel in the unknown regions. Similarly, we know that on the Supremacy, attendants aided not only with navigation using strange technology like the Oculus, but were also key in saving the members of the Imperial Remnant after the Battle of Jakku in the first place, as they fled the galaxy. I think there's a direct parallel here, pointing to the fact that the Supremacy could have been built using Palpatine's methods, while also relying on his means of astronavigation. What's more, Palpatine also used aliens like Thrawn with direct knowledge of the farthest reaches of space, again, like the attendants in another direct connection. Sheev had planned for expansion. He had, and I quote, "the unknown regions secretly explored by Imperial scouts and seeded with shipyards, laboratories, and storehouses, an enormously expensive effort that had taken decades and been kept hidden from all but the elect." Coupling that with the Empire's penchant for secret projects, including some of which had plans housed on Scarif, and the Empire's constant drive for larger vessels, and I think it's likely that the Supremacy was actually planned as Palpatine's flagship, a flagship which would facilitate the travel to new and distant galaxies. Now, whether the Empire actually finished construction on this ship, and whether it existed before the rise of Snoke, I think is unknown. Interestingly, the various cross-sections and visual guides for The Last Jedi simply refer to the Supremacy as being built in the unknown regions, not built by Snoke or the First Order specifically. To me, it also seems like it would be exceptionally difficult for the faction to secure resources to build Starkiller Base, the rest of their fleet, plus this new massive dreadnought. That being said, there is certainly the implication, and perhaps somewhere that I haven't read closely enough, the outright statement that the First Order did make the Mega Star Destroyer. And it's also been stated that it was produced by Kuat's successor corporation, which only existed after the Galactic Civil War. Here's my guess. Snoke somehow secured these plans, whether working in concert with the Emperor or not, and had the Mega Star Destroyer built. There's certainly precedence for something like this, as we know that Starkiller Base was also based on secret Imperial schematics, and that the world itself had been prepped. I think Snoke ignored the vessel's intended use, and instead pointed it back towards the galaxy. A mobile capital was incredibly useful for the First Order, which had little territory and was mounting a blitzkrieg. Still, especially when considering Starkiller Base, it does seem to be out of proportion with what would be needed to actually attack the galaxy. However, for an outbound flight journey into the unknown, it seems incredibly appropriately sized, especially if the trek was meant to take years. But this may be out there, and my connection with Dark Empire could be unfounded, but personally, I don't even think Palpatine's dead for good. Maybe we'll cover that a different day. Just my opinion though. Let me know what you think about my Mega Star Destroyer extragalactic connection, whether I've convinced you or not, down in the comment sections, and if I remember, in a poll in the upper right hand corner. No question of the day today, I'm running low on time, but feel free to leave a question for next time down below with the hashtag AskEck. Anyway, until next time guys, this has been Eckhart's Ladder. May the Force be with you.